Assalamualaikum class. How are you today? Okay, I'm fine too. Thank you for asking me. So, as usual, let's start our class today by saying basmalah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Now, as usual, who wants to recite the Quran? Okay, go ahead.
A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alif lam mim. Zalikal kitabu la raiba fihi hudal lil muttaqin. Alladzina yu'minuna bil ghaibi wa yuqimunas sholata wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. Shadaqallahul azim.
Okay, thank you very much, Sofa. Now let's start our lesson today. But before we do that, before we continue our lesson, do you still remember what was our discussion last weekend? I believe you remember, don't you? Come on, class. Yes. Okay, good. So our discussion last week was about the input hypothesis. Okay, let's see now. All right, everybody. So our discussion last week was about the input hypothesis. So what do you remember about the input hypothesis? Proposed by Krashen. Very good. So it is proposed by Krashen. It talks about good second language and also first language acquisition. Now let's go to the next discussion. I believe you are aware with the name of Vygotsky. That's Vygotsky, not Vygotsky, even though it's sky pronounced at the back. Vygotsky, let's see, based on his theory about language acquisition, here, well, actually there is supposed to be a picture here, but it's okay. So, class, this is how a child constructs new knowledge. So, a child interacts, finds problems, and then when he finds problems, that is when scaffolding occurs. Do you still remember about scaffolding? Of course not. Because I haven't told you yet. Okay, so this is about scaffolding. Scaffolding is a kind of supportive framework which is done by someone, others. It can be parents, siblings, or teachers. Well, one thing for sure, something done with someone with more knowledge. And here, when the scaffolding occurs, language plays a very important role. And then, it also proves that learning takes place in a social context. That's why scaffolding should be inside the child's ZPD. Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. Do you still remember?
Yes.
Inside the child's ZPD. What do you still remember, honey?
Zone of proximal development is when the students, the position of students is between they can do something and they cannot do something. So they need the help of maybe their teachers or their friends.
Okay, what's your name, honey?
Windy.
Windy. You pass. Very good. Thank you very much, Windy. So that's it, class. Here we can see this is what we call zone of proximal development. Yeah, zone of proximal development is located between what a child can do and what a child cannot do by himself. So that's exactly what you have to do inside the classroom. If you keep on using bahasa in the classroom, it means you are bringing your students into this area, what the child can do by himself. And that's really not recommended because he will feel bored. Your students will feel bored. And if you use, let's just say, standardized English and then perfect English, then you will bring your students to this area. what the child cannot do. And of course, he will be overwhelmed. Your students will be overwhelmed. That's why bring your students here, inside the zone of the proximal development. It means that please still use English, keep on using English, but grade your language. It means that you are allowed to use broken English. Please do not use standardized English because your students are not ready for that. Use only broken English. And it's okay. Why? Because we are dealing with young learners. Is it clear enough?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all, class. Any questions so far? Yes.
How to implement the zone of proximal development in the class?
Okay. How do we implement the zone of proximal development based on Vygotsky's view in the classroom? Okay, because we are dealing with English for young learners, so as I told you earlier, we must implement the ZPD inside the classroom by not using full bahasa and also not using full standardized English. I know your English is so well, is so standardized, your English structure is A++, but please do not use that kind of language when you teach young learners. Why? Because, let's just say, our students do not have a close interaction with English before. So let's just say they are not used to speaking in English. So it's very impossible, for us to use standardized English. Only the area in which the students can do with your help. It means the area which is one level above. One level above what the students can do. So you may use English. As a matter of fact, please use full English but broken English. Is that clear enough?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's nice. Okay, guys. This is the end of our lesson. I just want to make sure, is there any other questions? Anything that you still don't understand?
Yes.
Is there anything that you still don't understand? Okay, that's very nice. So we have come to the conclusion of our lesson today. As our discussion, don't forget that please try to teach your students inside their ZPD area. I know it's not going to be easy. I know it's going to be difficult for the first time. And maybe you may think, ma'am, even by using standard English is difficult for me. Now you're asking me to use broken English. That's double difficult, for example. Well, it's okay, class. Just like what this stated by, actually this is the book I read. The title is Super Great Memory. So, honey, would you please read?
Me, Thomas Alva Edison telah ribuan kali berusaha menemukan bola lampu sebelum akhirnya berhasil. Ketika ditanya tentang hal ini, ia menjawab, saya tidak akan gagal 1000 kali. Saya cuma menemukan 1000 cara yang tidak efektif untuk menciptakan bola lampu.
That's it. So, saya tidak gagal 1000 kali. Itu bukan kegagalan, tetapi saya cuma menemukan 1000 cara yang tidak efektif untuk menciptakan bola lampu. So, if Thomas Alva Edison can do it, you can do it too. Okay, class? Yes. Thank you very much for joining me today. Let's close by saying Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.